Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and welcome everyone to the Saturday morning Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, reading and discussion with the Prabhupada Disciples, Hare Krishna Society. And we, as you know, we use only the original authorized, unedited books of Srila Prabhupada because we understand that he gave that clear instruction to all of us during his manifested presence with us. And the books of Srila Prabhupada are a transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. And they shouldn't be changed. No. And I was mentioning Mother Rochisha earlier this week that when you read from these books, you find diamonds. If you've ever had beautiful diamonds, they're quite enamoring, I must say. And especially uncut, raw diamonds. And you hold them in your hand, you look at them and you imagine, oh, look at all this money. Of course, it can go away like that, goodbye, for whatever reason. But the point is that real diamonds are the knowledge that we get when we read Prabhupada's books. And if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, which we are, when you look at the 10th canto, you try to understand, well, how did Prabhupada construct this? Well, he took all of the verses that are contained in the 10th canto, and he blended them together with his own transcendental vision and created this wonderful book called the Krishna book. That's it. So even though they're not in shlokas and transliterations and verses, all the shlokas are there. And he's combined them together to make these stories. And with the headings, so you have all these headings, and the prayers by Ācārya, which I'm currently reading, are quite enlightening, very enlightening. And I thought, because this is the situation that we're all in, this state of illusion. We're all in this state of illusion. We think we're the body. We think we're the mind. We think that everything around us is real, but it isn't. It's all unreal. But yoga means to transcend this through transcendental sound vibration coming from the bona fide spiritual master. No change. Very important point. And we've stressed that very much because nowadays so many people change everything. And we're going to read, I wanted to read this brief section for you. It starts at 259 on prayers by Ācārya. My dear Lord, everyone within this material world is conditioned by your illusory energy. Yeah. Under the impression of false identification and false possession, everyone is transmigrating from one body to another in the path of fruitive activities and their reactions. So see here, everyone. It's not, he's excluding anyone. Ācārya is not. And he's acknowledging himself as also a victim of illusion. My dear Lord, I'm also no exception to these conditioned souls. I'm falsely thinking myself happy. And he qualifies it here in possessing my home, my wife, if you have one or a husband, children, state, property, and effects. In this way, I'm acting as if in a dreamland, Because none of these are permanent. That's what Maya is, that which is not. That's the definition. I'm a fool to be always absorbed in such thoughts, accepting them as permanent and true. Fool. Do you feel that? Do you feel foolish? If you don't, keep listening. My dear Lord, due to my false identification, I have accepted everything which is non-permanent, such as this material body, which is not spiritual, asat, achit, nirananda, and is the source of all kinds of miserable conditions. Being bewildered by such concepts of life, I'm always absorbed in thoughts of duality. And I have forgotten who you are, the reservoir of all transcendental bliss. We've forgotten. Yeah. Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. I am bereft of your transcendental association. And just like a foolish creature who goes in search of water in the desert, leaving the water spot which is covered by water-nourishing vegetables, the conditioned soul, want to quench their thirst, but they do not know where to find water. They give up the spot where there is actually a reservoir of water and run. Don't we all do this? Run into the desert where there is no water. The world of phantasmagoria, of dreams. My dear Lord, I'm completely incapable of controlling my mind, which is now driven by the unbridled senses and is attracted by fruitive activities and the results. He's describing everyone. Just know that. My dear Lord, your lotus feet cannot be appreciated by any person in the conditional stage of material existence, but somehow or other, I have come near your lotus feet, and I consider this to be your causeless mercy upon me. You can act in any way because you are the supreme controller. I can thus understand when a person becomes eligible to be delivered from the path of repeated birth and death. It is only by your causeless mercy that he further progresses to become attached to your causeless mercy. Causeless mercy. Acura fell down before the Lord and he said, my dear Lord, your transcendental eternal form is full of knowledge. Simply by concentrating one's mind upon your form, you can understand in full knowledge everything that be, because you are the original source of all knowledge. And everyone's searching for knowledge, but it is in the wrong places. They're looking for material advancement. They're looking for money. They're looking for material success. You are the supreme powerful, possessing all kinds of energies. You are the supreme Brahman and the supreme person, supreme controller and master of all the material energies. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are Vasudeva, the resting place of all creation. You are the all-pervading supreme personality of Godhead, and you are also the supreme soul residing in everyone's heart and giving direction to act. Now, my Lord, I'm completely surrendered unto you. Please give me your protection. And that should be everyone's prayer. Akura's prayer. It should be our prayer. And the synopsis, Vijaya Pandit, this synopsis of truth is something that you have to absorb in your character. You have to become this, a follower of Akura, like Prabhupada was and is. Prabhupada demonstrated, when you study Prabhupada's life, he did not speak. He acted. Of course, Prabhupada spoke the action, the non-dual nature of his words are all Shastra, all scripture, so it has form. But in the material world, a lot of people talk. Oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that. I'm this, I'm that. I was listening to a reel, someone said, don't listen to people's words. See what they do. What are their actions? Words are cheap. You can say whatever you want. You can pretend that you're some kind of big shot. That's all you're doing, because you're in the illusion that you think that this world is real. And it's hard to get out of that. Of course, we're all stuck, and we read that today. So very interesting section from the Krishna book. This summary by Srila Prabhupada of truth, Shruta, exact truth. And if we can just understand one section, we'll be liberated, if it's possible. In Australia, they were asking, well, how long does it take Srila Prabhupada to achieve perfection? I'm paraphrasing. He said, you don't read? You do not read the books? It can be in a minute or millions of births. It's just a matter of accepting and understanding the fact. Truth is what we're searching for. And the absolute truth is being revealed to us through these classes, for one, absolutely. But do people really listen? Or do they act? Do they hear and then they act? Which leads me to the next point. We want to celebrate a great success that we have, which is action. We, as a group, not one person, but a group, all of us that are active with our mission to protect Prabhupada's legacy, cooperated to print the Delhi Bhagavatams. It's a great victory. It really is. And I believe Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, that Prabhupada brought 200 sets to America in the trunks on the Jaladuta. And then he sent for another 100 sets. And so that they could become used in the temples in the early days. And that's the only books that we had, by the way. We didn't have any, but we had the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's what we read from. Remember, the Blue Gita was the short, abridged Macmillan Gita. Then we started to get some of those, but that was it. And then some little magazines. But the real scripture that we had, that we studied from, was the Delhi Bhagavatams, and we have them. Okay, these are them. We have 2,000 sets. Now what we're going to do is we're looking for members of our group to step up, please, if you want. If you don't, that's all right. But this is an opportunity for you to take a position of responsibility and help all of us distribute these books to sincere people throughout the world. We need cooperation. Yes. And Ram Raghava, I was watching the sports broadcast. It was on the news type of thing. And they were showing the Blue Jays, which is a Canada team. Oh, they're the first place team in the American League. Oh, well, big deal. Up and down. But the point that they were making was that they had achieved this success through teamwork. Teamwork makes dreams work. We need our team. What is our team? All of our members here. Yes, all of them. To step up and say, okay, please send me 20 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, Delhi edition. And if you call me at 289-244-4315, we have a retail price for these books. We have a wholesale price. The cheapest price on the planet for these books, by the way. We were trying to get copies of them prior to the printing so we could send them to our printer and he could get the exact replica. You know how much it cost us, Ram Raghava, for one set? $150 US. So we have a special price of $59, retail for one set, which is far below $150. And we also have special wholesale pricing for all of you if you order 20 sets, which is 3 boxes. And 3 boxes, because there's 20 in each box, so that's 60 books, or 20 people that'll be receiving this mercy. Oh, he's asking me a question. Plus shipping, of course, because we've incurred huge amounts of shipping expenses, huge, to bring these books here. And now to reship them. But that's standard anyway, plus shipping. So, but we also are open for business. What? Preaching business. Call me. Let's make a deal. How about that? I'm ready. 289-244-4315. The wholesale price is $34. Okay? $34 for diamonds. Have any of you ever held diamonds? Like real diamonds, uncut diamonds, big ones, real ones, not fake. Oh, they're enamoring. But this is the real diamond. Trust me. And the benefit that you get from this cannot be calculated by any mundane value. No. Devotional service to Srila Prabhupada and the benefits you receive by participating in this program of distribution of these books will save you from repeated birth and death. Because if you want, here, try to understand this, Ram Raghava. You want to understand, how do you get the attention of Krishna? Do not try to see Krishna, but act in such a way that Krishna will see you. That's what Bhaktisiddhanta told Srila Prabhupada. Try to act and you'll get the attention of Krishna. Here is the secret of success. Right here. All you have to do is take up this distribution of these books and then Prabhupada will be pleased, and in this way Krishna will be pleased. Is it simple logic or is it confusing? Does anybody have any? If you have any confusion, I don't care who you are, if you're an ISKCON flopper or whoever you are, call me up and we can talk and we'll make a deal. I sound like Donald Trump, eh? We're negotiating. Yes, we're ready to negotiate. We want this. There's one of our devotees here, actually a few of them in our group. I won't embarrass them. They are so driven to do this. I have to hold them. They're like raging horses. I have to hold them back. Hold on, be calm, think, meditate, work together as a team, be intelligent. But they want to march, 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 march. Let's go, let's go. We've got 2,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams to distribute. So get on the bandwagon, okay? You know, I'm a band leader. I think all of you know that. Very successful band leader. And when you're running a band, you try to get everybody to hop on board the bandwagon, and you become successful. Get on this Bhagavatam bandwagon. Take advantage of this opportunity. How many times has this happened in the history of the world, Vijaya Pandit? How many times? Tell me. Well, maybe a few, but nothing like what we're doing as a group to show humanity that Prabhupada still lives in his books and his mission. Connect the dots, please, if you could, and see yourself as part of this wonderful opportunity to engage in the Sankirtan movement of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's all I'm going to do. That's enough. And I apologize if I sound like a Sankirtan leader. Of course, you know, as a devotee, I was the temple commander, I was the cook, I was the Sankirtan leader. Yeah, Sankirtan leader. Someone asked me, what's that? One of our new devotees, what's a Sankirtan? I said, well, the Sankirtan is you chant on the street and you sell books. So we all done that, chant on the street, go out and chant, and then you also distribute books. That's Sankirtan. What's Sankirtan? That's what he asked. What's Sankirtan? So, you know, I was the vice president, I was the regional secretary, I was but the real benefit of Krishna consciousness is this. Just remember to be the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. And in this way, you'll become great. That's what Prabhupada told me to my face at my initiation. Oh, you think you're the chief engineer? No, you're not. You're simply the servant of the spiritual master. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're going to move forward with our next section, which is, I know, all of our favorites. And that's Prabhupada speaking directly to us in this section of the program. Go ahead, Ram Raghava. Let's roll Prabhupada speaking. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam.
So that means he is following Krishna's direction, that's all. He doesn't mind that I am going to be enemy of Krishna. The principle is that he is following. If Krishna says that you become my enemy, so I can become his enemy. That is Bhakti Yoga. Yes, I want to satisfy Krishna. Just like a master is asking servant that you knock me. Yes. He is knocking like this. So that is service. The others may see, oh, he is knocking and he is saying I'm serving. What is this? He is knocking. But master wants that you knock me. That is service. Service means that you obey the order of the master. It doesn't matter what it is. There is a very nice example in Lord Chaitanya's life, that he has his personal servitor, Govinda. So after Lord Chaitanya would take prasadam, then Govinda would take. So one day, Lord Chaitanya, after taking prasadam, he laid down himself on the threshold. What is called threshold? Door. So Govinda crossed him. Govinda used to massage his leg after when he was taking rest. So Govinda crossed Lord Chaitanya and massaged his leg. Then Lord Chaitanya was sleeping, and say after half an hour when he got, he said, Govinda, you are not taking your prasadam? I said, I know, sir. Why? I cannot cross you. You are lying down here. Now how you can try came cross? How? You first of all came cross and you are not going crossing. But that I came to serve you. And now I cannot cross to take my prasadam. That is not my duty. That is for myself. And it is for you. so-called Krishna's pleasure, you can become his enemy, you can become his friend, you can become anything. That is Bhakti. Because your aim is how to please Krishna. And as soon as the point comes to please your senses, then you come to material immediately. Krishna bhuliya jive bhogavan chakare, pasete mayakare japotiya bhare. As soon as we forget Krishna and we want to do things for our sense gratification, that is Maya. And as soon as you give up the process of sense gratification and do everything for Krishna, that is liberation.
Yes, that's liberation. That is liberation, to become absorbed in the Sankirtan mission of Srila Prabhupada. Let's move forward, Ram Raghava, with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, and then the reading and discussion from Bhagavad-gītā As It Is. Here, look at this beautiful. This is the Russian printing of the Bhagavad-gītā. The talk with Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Haribol.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yaśodā-nandana Braja Jana Vandana. Yaśodā-nandana Braja Jana Vandana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Swami to Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Swami to Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram cheva narottamam. Naram cheva narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Tato Jayam Mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Nara-Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. As we mention every week, this reading is conducted on the basis of the original 1972 Macmillan edition, the non-edited, non-adulterated original version, and all synonyms, translations, and purports are by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses personally introduced by Srila Prabhupada himself when he started his lecture series on the Bhagavad-gītā in New York, USA, early 1966. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes. With the torch of knowledge, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Makhyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaguna Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadada, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishaka. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Oh, my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distress and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desired trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll proceed with our specific verse for today. We are reading from Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, chapter number 13, text number 23. Upadrashta numantacha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti chapyukto dehismin purusha paraha. Upadrashta, overseer, anumanta, permitter, cha, also, bharta, master, bhokta, supreme enjoyer, maheshwaraha, the supreme lord, paramatma, supersoul, iti, also, cha, and, apiyuktaha, is said, dehe, in this body, asmin, this, purushaha, enjoyer, paraha, transcendental, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the Supersoul. Purport. It is stated here that the Supersoul, who is always with the individual soul, is the representation of the Supreme Lord. He is not an ordinary living entity. Because the monist philosophers take the knower of the body to be one, they think that there is no difference between the Supersoul and the individual soul. To clarify this, the Lord says that he is the representation of Paramatma in everybody. He is different from the individual soul. He is Paraha, transcendental. The individual soul enjoys the activities of a particular field, but the Supersoul is present not as finite enjoyer, nor as one taking part in bodily activities, but as the witness, overseer, permitter, and supreme enjoyer. His name is Paramatma, not Atma, and he is transcendental. It is distinctly clear that the Atma and Paramatma are different. The Supersoul, the Paramatma, has legs and hands everywhere, but the individual soul does not. And because he is the Supreme Lord, he is present within to sanction the individual soul's desiring material enjoyment. Without the sanction of the Supreme Soul, the individual soul cannot do anything. The individual is bhakta, or the sustained, and he is bhukta, or the maintainer. There are innumerable living entities, and he is staying in them as a friend. The fact is that individual living entities are eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and both of them are very intimately related as friends. But the living entity has the tendency to reject the sanction of the Supreme Lord and act independently in an attempt to dominate the Supreme Nature. And because he has this tendency, he is called the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. The living entity can be situated either in the material energy or the spiritual energy. As long as he is conditioned by the material energy, the Supreme Lord, as his friend, the Supersoul, stays with him just to get him to return to the spiritual energy. The Lord is always eager to take him back to the spiritual energy, but due to his minute independence, that individual entity is continually rejecting the association of spiritual light. This misuse of independence is the cause of his material strife in the conditioned nature. The Lord, therefore, is always giving instruction from within and from without. From without, he gives instruction as stated in Bhagavad-gītā, and from within, he tries to convince him that his activities in the material field are not conducive to real happiness. Just give it up and turn your fate toward me. Then you will be happy. He says, thus the intelligent person who places his faith in the Paramatma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, begins to advance towards a blissful, eternal life of knowledge. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shugurave Namaha Bhagavad-vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purabakam Kshiram Sarkara Yuktam Kadate Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yache Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padambho Jadulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadasu Asmi Sarvata tat kripa pikshako nityam tat prishtashad karomishvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the Upanishads, Srila Prabhupada used to often quote, Tamasi ma jyotirgamaya, that one should come out of the darkness and go towards the eternal spiritual light. This is the message from the Bhagavad-gītā. And here the same message is very clearly explained, the difference between the Jivatma and the Paramatma. There is a common misunderstanding by the impersonalists or the monists, the Mayavadis, that the individual soul is the same as the Supreme Soul, and at the end of their life, they merge together. But we see in Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 2, text number 12, how Krishna disproves that contention, does not agree with this false idea. Now, this is a very important point. The beginning of Krishna's instruction in chapter 2, Krishna is telling Arjuna in the beginning, in text number 11, the Blessed Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. And in text number 12, there is very important point being read. Natvebaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha nacheba dabavishyamaha sarvevayamata param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So what this verse is explaining very nicely, Prabhupada explains, in the Vedas, in the Katha Upanishad, as well as in the Shveta-svatara Upanishad, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer of innumerable living entities in terms of their different situations according to individual work and reaction of work. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is also, by his plenary portions, alive in the heart of every living entity. Only saintly persons who can see within and without the same Supreme Lord can actually attain to perfect and eternal peace. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yuvidadati kaman tam atmastam yenupasyanti dhiras tesham shantihi shashvati netaresham. Katha Upanishad 2:13. Now, this is very important point because we see on page number 87 in the third paragraph in the bottom of the page, the Mayavadi theory that after liberation, the individual soul separated by the covering of Maya or illusion will merge into the impersonal Brahman and lose its individual existence is not supported herein by Lord Krishna, the supreme authority, nor is the theory that we only think of individuality in the conditioned state supported herein. Krishna clearly says, please move up, herein that in the future also the individuality of the Lord and others, as it is confirmed in the Upanishads, will continue eternally. This statement of Krishna is authoritative because Krishna cannot be subject to illusion. If individuality is not a fact, then Krishna would not have stressed it so much, even for the future. The Mayavadi may argue that the individuality spoken of by Krishna is not spiritual, but material. Even accepting the argument that the individuality is material, that how can one distinguish Krishna's individuality? Krishna affirms his individuality in the past and confirms his individuality in the future also. So this is the point here. This verse that we are reading, chapter 13, text 23, deals with exactly the same issue and the same point. It's seen in the Bhagavad-gītā. Krishna describes various themes in various parts of his transcendental message to Arjuna in so many different ways, knowing that the living entity in the material world, especially the impersonalists, have the tendency to misinterpret. Now, this is very important because we see that the Srila Prabhupada explains in so many different ways how to understand the individuality of the individual soul and the position of the individual soul towards the Supreme Soul. It's described here, Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. He is the supreme enjoyer. He is the supreme proprietor. He's existing as the overseer and permitter. And he's also known as the Supersoul. Now, this is very important because many people are misled. They get confused by the propaganda of the impersonalist. There's a verse in the Padma Purana that Prabhupada quotes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maya vadama shastram prachannam baudamuchyate mayeva kalpitam devi kalau brahmana rupina. This is from the Padma Purana, Lord Shiva talking to his wife Parvati. Tell him that is in this age I will come in the guise of a Brahmana to spread these false scriptures. Maya vadama shastram prachannam baudamuchyate, preaching a quasi-Buddhist philosophy. Now, this is very important to understand. Of course, in this country, it is not quite as prominent as it is in India, especially in South India. But in South India, this Mayavad philosophy is very prominent. Shankaracharya, the Adi Shankaracharya, was born there in Kerala, and he went everywhere chasing Buddhism out of the country, preaching his brand of impersonalism. But this is not the message of Bhagavad-gītā. That's why we constantly refer to that verse, chapter 2, text number 12, that the individuality of the soul, natvevaham jatunasam, that individuality will not stop. That Krishna is an individual, Arjuna is an individual, and all these kings are individual. Nacheva nabhavishyamaha. In the future also, it will remain individual. So this theory that the individual soul will merge with the Supreme Soul is Mayavad, is nonsense. This is very important because less intelligent practitioners and deluded philosophers often preach this nonsense idea. That's why we have to very carefully study each word, each sentence in Prabhupada books, so we will not be influenced and misled by the false propaganda of charlatans and posers. And this applies not just to this topic, but every topic. Just yesterday, I had an interesting exchange with a devotee explaining to me that she had problem with ghosts. I said, well, you can chant Hare Krishna, that will chase the ghost away. And there's a very interesting story in this connection. In May of 1977 in Vrindavan, one night, I was assigned to massage Prabhupada's feet and assist him if he needed anything. And Prabhupada says, please come here. So I went from the foot of the bed, very close to his head. I said, did I ever tell you the story of the ghost and what happened? I said, no, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, when I first moved to Allahabad, Prayag, to start my pharmacy there, I was trying to rent a house. And people were telling me there was a big house for rent for very good price, but there was some ghost there. And Prabhupada went there. He says, I took my mridanga, I started chanting and do some kirtan. And Prabhupada looked at me, he says, do you know what happened? I said, no, Prabhupada, the ghost went away. Because the ghost cannot stay where the name is being chanted. The name of Krishna and the chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No more ghost. Ghost was gone. And I said, oh. Then Prabhupada says, now you know the ghost story. So that is a little episode with Prabhupada. Another time, Prabhupada explained that when he went there, he tried to buy a car, an American car called a Plymouth, but he was pronouncing it Plymouth. So he told Guru Kripa and myself, and Guru Kripa told him, Prabhupada, that's not how it's pronounced. And Prabhupada says, why not? Says, this is the difference between the English language and the Sanskrit language. In the Sanskrit language, things are always pronounced in a systematic way, the same way. According to certain rules. In English, you say Plymouth, Plymouth, or whatever. What is the logic? What is the reason? You say but, and put. What is the difference? Why is it not pronounced the same? Prabhupada, that is the difference between the Mleccha language and perfect language. We'll leave it at that. Back to you in the studio, Vishwakarma. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Fantastic. Beautiful recollections of your pastimes with Srila Prabhupada. And this is a great treasure for all of us. Because when you hear these pastimes of Srila Prabhupada from devotees that had them, this is as good as being there. It is transcendental. And most of us weren't blessed with as much association as we wanted with Srila Prabhupada personally. But when we hear these pastimes, we can memorize them, Vijaya Pandit. And then they become our possession, that we own them. And we can repeat them. And this is disciplic succession. Because transcendental knowledge is passed down by disciplic succession without any change, just like the mango. When you have a mango tree, the mangoes at the top of the tree become very ripe and beautiful. And you go to the top with a ladder, and how do you pass the mangoes down? Do you take them and throw them? No. Because if you do, it'll damage the quality of the mango. So in the same way, the fruit of Vedic literature is passed down hand by hand to the ground and given to the recipient. So spiritual life is like that. It's passed from person to person. And we have three types of guru. There's a Vartma Pradarshika guru, as someone who introduces Krishna consciousness to others by giving Prabhupada's books to them. For example, I was years ago on Sankirtan in Sudbury, Ontario, that's up north. And a guy came out of a mall, John Viss. He's now got the name Bhakti Marg. And he's some kind of person in the ISKCON group. But I handed him a Bhagavad-gītā at the front of the mall in Sudbury. I still remember it vividly. And he looked at it. And then somehow or other, I started to talk to him because we had no place to stay. And we were looking for a place to stay. Like I said the other day, when we used to go out on Sankirtan, they gave us no money, just a tank of gas, and see you later, boys. We hope it works out. So we were up in Sudbury. We had stayed at a church one night. We went to the door of the church and they let us in. I talked to the priest We don't have any place to stay. There was 6 of us. So he let us sleep in the basement. We took our sleeping bags. That's all we had for our beds was the sleeping bags. We were sleeping on the floor. Back then, we didn't use a bed at all. It was very much like a brahmachari in India. You just slept on the floor. You rolled out your bag, you went to sleep, you got up, rolled it up, took your shower, and on you went. So it was a different situation. We were going place to place. We had no place to stay. We had no money. We didn't even have money to rent a room. But did it matter? No, it didn't matter because we felt protected by Lord Chaitanya, by Prabhupada's mission, and the distribution of his books, which was the Bhagavad-gītā. I gave the Gita to John Viss, and then he invited us. There was another fellow with me, Yojapati, B.B. Govinda. He was in the Sankirtan party with us. Well, those are 2 of the ISKCON gurus nowadays. Just see, eh? Shivaram joined in Montreal when we were the Sankirtan leader. That's a threesome. So, at any rate, you introduce Krishna consciousness to people by giving them a book, like we want our team here to participate in the distribution of these Srimad Bhagavatams as a teamwork. And you introduce Krishna to others and then inspire them with your association by explaining the philosophy to them as you become learned. And that is called siksha. You teach others what you've heard from your spiritual master without any adulteration. That's not easy. We can see that. A lot of people want to change everything. It's called the change disease. That's the business of the Americans, let's say. Not to target them, but that's the way. And then finally, there is Diksha Guru. So, Padarsha Guru, Siksha Guru, and Diksha Guru. And that is exclusive to those who are on the Unedited platform. They never fall down. Someone that falls down that claims to be a Diksha Guru is a fake. He's a phony. He's a cheater. Prabhupada said this is a society of the cheaters and the cheated. Someone will cheat you. And it's a good business, the guru business. And there are thousands of gurus, just like in Christianity. You go to Krishna, we have this fellow here in this area, his name is Prophet Tom. Spelled Profit, Ram Raghava. Prophet Tom. No, it's not that spelled that way. He's spelling it. And you know, it's interesting to it, you mentioned about English and how it's a dysfunctional language, Prabhupada was saying in those examples that you gave, Yaśodā-nandana. But prophet, 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 not Profit. Both pronounced the same. Prophet means someone who has some transcendental spiritual enlightenment, so-called, and prophet means somebody that's looking for money. That's what they are. Prophet. Prophet Tom. This is the guru business in Christianity. And it's become like that. And it's growing like that in Prabhupada's mission, where there are so many different, rivulets, streams off the main river that are just setting up their own little business. And this is unfortunate. So these things are going on in the Kali Yuga, the iron age of quarrel and hypocrisy, of war. That's what it is. It's a war society. We know that. Why? Because we've experienced war our whole lives. Back in the 50s, my father was in the Army, Canadian Army. And he was a veteran. He got injured by working with the artillery. He was over in Europe during the wars in France, the fighting in France, etc. So I always used to see, he had a whole collection, Ram Raghav, of pictures that would be at our house. Oh, this is where I was in Vimy Ridge and this and that, and I'd see all these pictures of him. So he was always, exposed to war. In fact, I joined the militia here in Hamilton under his encouragement for 15, 16, and 17 when I was that age. And what you did, that's how you got a summer job. You get a summer job and you made first time you could make some money, because it was hard to get a job back then. But you could join the militia, and it was an experience. Experienced in that, I was in the Ordnance Corps. I guess it was a calling for me, how to peel potatoes. I still remember learning it. And then when I was in the temple, I could also peel really expert. And even today, when I make my prasadam, I think, okay, make sure you peel those potatoes expertly for Lord Chaitanya. Yes, because I'm a trained potato peeler. So at any rate, war was always a part of what we were doing. When in the 60s, it was the Vietnam War. Oh, very much so. And, being a hippie like I was very much against the idea of war. And I went to the University of Guelph, which was kind of the university of, like a Berkeley type place, where people were more on the radical side. And back in the university, I read Jerry Rubin and Malcolm X and all these books on revolution. In fact, I went on the radio, Yaśodā-nandana, in 1967. We had a very popular band, so I was on the radio with a guy named Tom Charrington back here in Hamilton. And he let me get on the air. And you know what I said? We want to blow up the steel plants. He goes, well, that's not the right thing to do. But back then it was a revolution. I said, well, but they're destroying the environment. We have probably one of the most beautiful cities in North America here in Hamilton. One of the most beautiful. In fact, there's a harbor and there's an access through the St. Lawrence Seaway. You come down here. And what do they put at the most scenic part of the city? Steel plants. And destroyed the whole environment and the city making steel here. So, war. This Vietnam War, and then these other wars that have been going on. The war in Gaza, the most insane war in the Ukraine. Canada just sent another $4.3 billion to the Ukraine to fight against Russian aggression. And we're in Canada here, and people are sleeping in the parks in tents. So war is something, Kali Yuga, the Iron Age of quarrel and hypocrisy, all based on animal slaughter. Prabhupada said, if you can shut down the slaughterhouses in Chicago, it'll stop the war in Vietnam. It's a fact. Because violence produces violence. That's what happens. This society is destined to doom. And yesterday they had this July 4th celebration in America. I turned on CNN. I was watching it. You know what I thought? I'm looking at all these fireworks displays. They must have spent $30, $40 million on fireworks. It was, and they were showing all the different, San Diego and Washington and New York City. And what were they doing, Ram Raghava? Fireworks displays. Talk about illusion. And look at how much of an illusion that is. It goes up and it disappears in 1 minute. And all the money goes. For what? Because they're celebrating nationalism. Nationalistic pride is suicide for the conditioned soul. I am an American. I am a Canadian. We're not any of these. I'm German, I'm Japanese. We are Jivara Swarupa Hoy. This body, this frail body, we've been reading about it today, all this morning from Srila Prabhupada, is just a bag of blood, pus, stool, and urine. Yes, and it smells if you don't wash it. But we think, oh, I'm important. Oh, yes, I'm so important. Look at my money. Look at who I am. I'm an American. Mega. Make what? Just see the hoax too, eh? Sorry, but I studied politics in university, Ram Raghava. That was my major. I try to tell my friends, you know what tariff means? Tax. They can't connect the dots. You put a tariff on a good, just like we've got. You get books shipped from India, and then they put a tariff on it, and then what it does, it drives up the price for everybody in America that has to pay more. It doesn't matter what it is. You put a tariff on. Who takes the money? Who collects the money? The government. And Prabhupada said what will happen, these people will eventually become so overburdened with taxes that they'll run away to the country to avoid these taxation situations. Yes, taxation, but the people are so stupid, they can't connect the dots. Put a tariff on, then instead of $10, it becomes $14. And who pays it? You do. Does Mr. Trump pay for it? No. You do, Mr. Consumer. But he'll tell you, oh, we're going to make America great by taking your money. Yeah, no kidding. And people can't see it. They can't connect the dots. So war is going on in the name of peace. There is no peace unless you are a devotee of Krishna, unless you have an understanding of your position as the servant of Krishna. And this is time, place, and circumstance. This is the situation we're in. And we're pushing forward with the philosophy of Prabhupada's books in order to help people get out of this entanglement. And we're going to move to our next section of the program, which is time, place, and circumstance, where we're seeing Prabhupada preaching according to time, place, and circumstance. Like, for example, we were discussing about the placement of women, the operation of the temples, how he was adjusting all of the time, place, and circumstance to facilitate the spreading of the mission of Lord Chaitanya amongst all of the conditioned souls globally. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, please, if you could go forward.
Well, thank you for this explanation. And the last point you made is very, very important, because the argument is sometimes made that Prabhupada could not have placed the Ritvik system because it's not in a tradition. No one has done this before. We've just been to 11 pages of examples of different things that Prabhupada did that were never done before. all the way from crossing the ocean, all the way from allowing men and women to live together in the same building. You know, there are so many things that Prabhupada did that were not standard tradition. You know, it's, in other words, Srila Prabhupada introduced many things, many procedures to facilitate the preaching of Krishna consciousness. This was Prabhupada's first and foremost point. We are reading from Time, Place, and Circumstances, page number 12. We are reading from point number 14. In some instances, Srila Prabhupada accepted some leches and yavanas, unfit disciples. During the manifested physical presence of the Sampradaya-Ācārya, Srila Prabhupada, so-called Hindus and envious persons sometimes criticize Srila Prabhupada for accepting and initiating persons of Mlecha and Yavana background as bona fide Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada explains this. And this is a quote of Srila Prabhupada is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, text number 54. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant for this purpose. There is no bar to propagating Krishna consciousness even among people who are born in Chandala, Mlecha, or Yavana families. Point number 15. He oftentimes wore sewn clothing to perform artik, fire sacrifices, and abhishek ceremonies. According to Vedic injunction, a sannyasi or a brahmana who performs a Vedic ritualistic ceremony should not wear cloth sewn by a needle. Srila Prabhupada often performed fire sacrifice, Agnihotra Yagna, deity Vedic ceremonies, Abhisheka, and artiks with full kurtas, which wear sewn clothes. And Prabhupada explains, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 9, text 15. The Vedas enjoin that for every ritualistic ceremony, one first must become clean by bathing either in the water of the Ganges or the Yamuna or in the sea. Then one may perform the ritualistic ceremony and offer clarified butter into the fire. In this verse, the word paridaya ahatani are especially significant. A sannyasi or a person about to perform a ritualistic ceremony should not dress himself in clothing sewn with a needle. As previously explained, Srila Prabhupada adjusted the formalities, but he never sacrificed the essence of the sacred scriptures. He did this for preaching of Krishna consciousness. Point number 16. Srila Prabhupada ordered his disciples to chant 16 rounds instead of the customary 64 rounds. This is from a Nectar of Devotion lecture on page 54. Nectar of Devotion, page 54. In the Western countries, people cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beads. Therefore, the minimum of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, he is considered fallen, patita. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen. But because we're trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen. Very important point. Conclusion. The empowered, fully realized acharyas, such as His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, can and do make adjustment to the shastras according to time, place, and circumstances to facilitate the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada explains why the acharya makes some adjustments to the rules of the shastra. And this is a quote from a letter to Shivananda Dasa on January 23rd, 1969. The same philosophy and spirit must be there exactly, just like we preach in this country exactly as we have heard from our spiritual master. But there are changes due to the time, place, and circumstances in the trainees. The spirit of the disciplic succession may not be changed, but there may be adjustment made to suit the special circumstances. Let us take shelter of the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada by submissively hearing from him the actual science of devotion to Lord Krishna from his original books. Hare Krishna, back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna.
Perfect. Perfect. A very succinct explanation of using the facilities that we have available now for spreading Krishna consciousness, which is much different than back in the 70s. Very much different. Like I was saying the other day, if you want to hear Prabhupada speak, you can listen in your car. You can hear the lecture. Perfect. And actually, it's probably better in some regards to hear it in these times, because you can actually be attentive and absorb what's being said. And you can go over it and really get an understanding. A lot of times back in the day when Prabhupada was here, I mean, remember, for example, we were in Mayapur. I remember in 1973, everybody was sick when they were in Mayapur. There was that balcony on the second floor. I can still see us all. We all slept on that balcony. And there was like 50 sleeping bags on that balcony, and everybody was sick. They had dysentery. That was something that was happening in the early days because we weren't adjusted to the living conditions over there. So you go to the class, you'd be falling asleep. You'd be doing, you couldn't, it was hard to stay awake. Can you imagine? You're sitting at the class, you're pinching yourself. Prabhupada is speaking, you're trying to, don't fall asleep, don't fall asleep. But how are you concentrating? Well, it was really difficult. You're concentrating not to fall asleep. But nowadays you can sit comfortably at your home and listen attentively and make notes from the lectures and write essays on them and become absorbed in the philosophy. And Prabhupada's living in his sound. Oh, Prabhupada's not here. Well, just put on the... Do you think that the video of Srila Prabhupada is non-different than him? Do you think it's dual or non-dual? Prabhupada's living in sound right in front of your eyes. Oh, Prabhupada's gone. No, he's not. He's here. Prabhupada is with us. We can listen to his tapes. I have, by the way, everybody, I'm sorting through the clutter in my office. I have about 250 cassette tapes, Ram Raghava, of Srila Prabhupada. Because remember those old tapes that you got from the LA? I got them. I don't know what to do with them. I don't have a cassette recorder. Of course, they're all, I can take advice from other people. I just don't know what to do. I don't want to get rid of them. It's bewildering what to do. Because they still exist now in the MP3 formats. They exist in the online programming that we have. And there's so much you can do. Like, for example, I go to my YouTube channel every morning, and it's on right now. You might be able to hear it in the background. You go on and there's 16 rounds are there, or 32 rounds, or 64 rounds. It's all there. Oh, look, he bought a Panasonic tape recorder. 64 rounds, and then you can chant along with the rounds. And Prabhupada is chanting japa. I also like the one where they have the background music of the Shanai. When you hear that, remember in Mayapur, Prabhu, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, remember that there was one morning I woke up and there I heard this magical sound of the Shania. It sounded like John Coltrane's alto sax. I thought, what is that? And it was the Shania, most transcendental sound. And it was being played from the tower over the gateway. The guy was sitting up there playing it. And the sound was permeating the whole atmosphere of Sridham Mayapur. And it just took me away. This neophyte, Vishwakarma Das, took me away to another world, the transcendental world of the birthplace and pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Prabhupada is living with us in sound with all this facility. And thank you, Bhakti and Amber, all these suggestions. I appreciate them so much. Living with us in sound. And today we read the prayers of Ācārya, such a succinct explanation by Srila Prabhupada. And I'm just going to, before we move to our next section, I'm just going to mention how these people from the Gaudiya Math have the nerve to say, and that's what they do, and I've heard it multiple times from multiple people that are members of this group, that Prabhupada did not present the higher truths in his books. You know why they say that? Because they don't understand divine incarnation, one, and two, they don't read them. They don't read them. Because if you're sincere and you read them, these are windows, just like our paintings, Prabhupada said, are windows into the spiritual world. The sound vibration of Prabhupada's preaching in his books opens us up to the spiritual realm through hearing, which is a much more dynamic sense than the eyes or the nostril, is the hearing process. And speaking, that also can be very cumbersome because people, all they do is babble. So when you hear, you're getting the form and through sound, the transcendental presence of the spiritual master and Krishna through the process of bhakti yoga, hearing and chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, the process of this practice, link. This is a transcendental linking process. This is what this yoga system is. And those that practice it can become Krishna conscious in this lifetime. And that's a great blessing for all of us. And thank you very much. Ram Raghava, give us a report here this morning from the YouTube channel. We're broadcasting on YouTube. And we're having some trouble with the YouTube because we have some copyright issues with some of the music. So if we leave off maybe the ending credits today, that won't interfere with our production. And then we're going to replace the music that we don't have rights with new music moving forward. So the show will stay the same, but the audio is going to change. Go ahead, Ram Raghava.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I started the live stream when we started the show, but I cannot find it, the live stream on YouTube. So I'm not sure what's going on, but there's no live stream going on, at least not that I can find.
Okay, so we're gonna fix that up, everyone. It's a tragedy, really is, and hopefully our technicians can source them out, and we don't lose this particular class. Everything is valuable. It's a jewel. Let's move forward with a comment from Ron Singh in Oroville, California.
Jai, thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. We have so many things going on in our devotional lives. We want to get all these books, the 2,000 sets out as soon as possible. So we're encouraging all the devotees who want to take up this voluntary service to step up and take some sets of books. We have 20 in one box. So if they take 20, Vishwakarma has promised an awesome price, and they can distribute it to their local family members, set up festivals. When I was starting up in my Krishna consciousness, we used to go to festivals, and then we set up Srila Prabhupada's books, and a lot of people never saw these wonderful books. So they came up and we just asked for a donation, and they gave a donation. So this is various ways the devotees can get these books out. We know we have viewers in all over the world, so please come in contact with us. Ask Vishwakarma, myself, Yaśodā-nandana will be gladly shipping these out to you. And sometimes we might be even able to ship you at a very discounted price as well. Vishwakarma has hinted about that, so please contact him. And we'd like to get this sold or distributed, or given to people who'd like to read. And we also have different projects which we're working on. Vishwakarma has also hinted towards those things. So please contact us if you like the books and if you want to give some suggestions. And let's get these going. Thank you very much, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, Vishwakarma, and all the devotees who have donated. We had over 120 devotees who have donated. We collected about $27,000 to print and get these books to you. So now it's time. Please send your addresses. I'm constantly shipping these books every day. Next shipment is going to go out Monday. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It is. It's not easy. But, that's the way of life, is challenge. Everybody has challenges every day. So we've accepted this challenge. Prabhupada told me that, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, when I was in a darshan with him in Toronto when he visited us. And I was talking to him. I think it was just myself and him in the room. It was quite a somewhat frightening experience for me. I was quite concerned when I went in the room. But I explained to Prabhupada, and I like bringing these stories up because it helps me revive my remembrances. So I was sitting there at the back of the room, and it was where he was taking rest. And I told him, he asked me about how things were going. Oh, how's everything going? Because he was worried about the temple. Having this temple and taking care of it, because it was a big responsibility. We went from a slum to the highest location in Toronto, which is right up from Forest Hill, which is where all the rich people are. So we went from Allen's Gardens to Forest Hill overnight. And it was a different responsibility to maintain the temple. And I said to him, Prabhupada, we have all these expenses now, which we didn't have before. So there's less book distribution. And he looked at me, he goes, that's okay. Some books. And he said, we have to take trouble for Krishna. We have to take this trouble. That's our job, to take these problems on and solve them for the pleasure of our spiritual master in Krishna. So this is the lesson to be learned from him. We take some trouble and we'll get the unlimited mercy of the Lord by pleasing the spiritual master through and the other point that I wanted to make, Ram Raghava, is this. One thing is to sell books, and a lot of people, they in the different groups that you see, and we had it before, where we had contests. Oh yeah, we sold, hundreds of thousands of BTGs. Yeah, okay. But how many devotees did we make? It's hard to say. Of course, there's hardly any devotees now in America. After all these books, I saw a number, 500 million books have been sold. Are there 500 million devotees? No. A lot of the temples in America nowadays, there's 3 people at the Mangal Arti. We're going to them. And in Hawaii, the people are there are 10 devotees in the Hawaiian temple, and half of them are Narayan disciples. Half. So 5, and the 5 disciples, I don't know if they're chanting 16 rounds. I'm not there, but who knows what's going on. So the idea is to take the books that we are getting and work on cultivating people in your network. It's called the circle of influence, Vijaya Pandit. This is a system. And the term is circle of influence. You devotees are circles of influence in your area. And then you cultivate people in your area and you encourage them to study these books and really taste the nectar. And that is called quality, not quantity. We are interested in quality. And one thing that we're excited about, and we talk about it as the PhD program of Krishna Consciousness. In other words, you come to this program, you get all the information, just like we did when we were temple presidents. We didn't make a special program for the new people. You came, you sat, you listened, and then you applied yourself every day, and then you started to catch on. Association is like that. That's how you learn to sing the bhajan, or the kirtans and the bhajans. Sri Guru Charana Padma, Samsara Davan, the morning prayers. You learn it by association. Is it hard? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. You have to repeat it. You have to be in association with people that are doing it. And in this way, you become advanced as you move along with us in the PhD program of Krishna Consciousness. I got this idea from Amber, Bhakti Amber. I know she's studying for her PhD. And, we have people here. I had a PhD man live with me for about 1.5 years from UCLA. We're around a lot of PhD people. But this is the PhD program of Krishna Consciousness with the PDA, Hare Krishna Society. Krishna Gita, maybe you could make a few comments today. Is your microphone working? Is it?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, I'm not really in a position to, but I appreciate you calling on me. I'm driving and it's really loud, so maybe someone else. Hare Krishna.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. No problem. Roy in Mississippi, can you get your microphone working?
Oh, Jesus.
Did I scare you? Did I scare you? Just joking, Prabhu, please. Go ahead, clear your voice and speak up.
Hello, Haribo.
Haribo. What are your thoughts on today's discussions?
I think we need to get a shirt that says, this is important. Because everything is just as important.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. What we're going to do is, Ram Raghava, what's the next section of the program?
Next is the Srila Prabhupada lecture, which is almost 10 minutes.
Okay, let's roll the lecture and everybody tune in and listen carefully to the Vani incarnation. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Prakritim Purusan Chaiva Kshetram Kshetragamevacha.
Etad vedikam ichchami jnanam jnanam jakkir. This is the special prerogative of human being, that he can understand the nature, this cosmic manifestation, and the enjoyer of the nature, and he can be fully conversant about what is the object of knowledge, jnana. There are three things: jnana, jnata and jnana. The object of knowledge, the knower is called jnata. The object of knowledge is called jnana, and the process by which one can understand, that is called jnana, knowledge. As soon as we speak of knowledge, there must be three things: the object of knowledge, the person who is trying to know, and the process by which the object of knowledge is achieved. So, some of them, just like the materialist scientists, they are simply trying to know the prakriti. But they do not know the Purusha. Prakriti means the enjoyer, and Purusha means the enjoyer. Actually, enjoyer is Krishna. He is the original Purusha. That will be admitted by Arjuna. Purusham Shāsvatam. He was the original enjoyer, Purusha. Krishna is the enjoyer, and every one of us, the living entities, and the prakriti, nature, everything is to be enjoyed by Krishna. That is Krishna's. Another Purusha, we living entities, we are not Purusha, we are also Prakriti. We are to be enjoyed. But in this material condition, we are trying to be Purusha, enjoyer. That means when the Prakriti or the living entities wants to become Purusha, that is material condition. If a woman tries to become a man, as that is unnatural, similarly, when the living entities who is by nature to be enjoyed, the example as I have given several times, that this finger captures some nice foodstuff, but actually the fingers are not enjoyed. The fingers can help the real enjoyer, namely the stomach. It can pick up some nice foodstuff and put it to the mouth, and when it goes to the stomach, the real enjoyer, then all the prakritis, all the parts of the body, all the limbs of the body, they feel satisfaction. So the enjoyer is the stomach, not any part of the body. There is a story in Hitopadesh, from which the Aesop's fable is translated. There is a story, Udarendriyanam. Udara means this belly. And Indriya means the senses. And there is a story of Udarendriyanam. The senses, all the senses met together in a meeting. They said that we are working, senses, why do you know? We are working, the leg said, yes, whole day I am working. The hand says, yes, I am working, whole day. Wherever the body says, you come here and pick up the food and bringing things for cooking and cooking also. Then the eyes, they say that I am seeing. Every link of the body, they made a strike that no more we are going to work only for the stomach, who is eating only. We are all working, and this man or this stomach is eating only. Then they strike just like the capitalist and the worker. The worker undergoes strike, no more working. So all these linked parts of the body, they observed striking, and after 2-3 days, when again they met, they talked amongst themselves that why we are becoming weak. We cannot work now. The legs also said, yes, I am also feeling good. Hands also, everyone. So what is the cause? The cause, then the stomach says, because I am not eating. So if you want to remain strong, then you must give me to eat. Otherwise, so I am the enjoyer. You are not enjoyer. You are to supply things for my enjoyment. That is your position. So they understood, yes, we cannot directly enjoy, it is not possible. The enjoyment must be through the stomach. You take one rasgulla, the fingers, you cannot enjoy. You give it to the mouth, and when it goes to the stomach, there is immediately energy. Not only the fingers enjoy, the eyes, and all other parts, they feel satisfaction. And strength also. Similarly, the real enjoyer is Krishna. Krishna says, Bhoktānam Jagadamsam Sarvalokam Maheswaram Sridham Sarvabhutanam Jnatya Mam Shantim Ichchati.
Very interesting comment there, Vijaya Pandit. Prabhupada said here, when a woman tries to become a man, that is unnatural. Very interesting comment there. Sort of answers questions. So remember, everyone, teamwork makes dreams work. All parts of the body work together, then you're successful in living. So in the same way, all of us working together in the service of Srila Prabhupada, this will make us stronger and more effective in our service. We're going to move forward with the Kirtan, Ram Raghava. This is Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna. Chant along, and after that, we've got what sections? What are we going to be seeing?
After that will be the reading of the 10 offenses by Rupa Goswami Prabhu, and then Japa.
Okay. Well, hang in if you've still got time and enjoy the transcendental activities of the PDA Hare Krishna Society online. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer.
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8th, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and we're full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating in this lively discussion and program. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Thanks Ram Raghava Prabhu in Georgia, Vijay Pandit in Italy, and Rochisa Devi Mataji dans la belle province de Québec dans les Laurentides, Krishna Kata in San Diego, California, Forest Temple with the beautiful hats, in the beautiful Prabhupada hats in Baja California, Mexico, Shiv Narayana Prabhu in Japan, Bhakta Anshuman Prabhu in India. We have Bhakta Roy in Mississippi, Bhaktin Amber Andy in Florida, soon to be in Alaska, Michael Dillon in Yuba City, California, Triloka Vijay in Florida, Viprahita Prabhu in Georgia, and everybody participating in Radharani Mataji with the beautiful pom-pom, whatever hairdo you got there, looks very nice. Thanks everybody for participating, and we welcome all of you to come tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Board Time, USA, for another lively discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Back to you in the studio, Ram Raghava. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Bala Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare